Hello. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Hell Realm. I know that this is controversial. There are some people that refuse to believe that hell exists. That's because there's a lot of misinformation out there. First of all, hell is not permanent. You don't go there for eternity. It's temporary, like just about everything else. It doesn't last forever, although I'm sure with all the suffering that goes on, it would feel like that. Apparently, they're very long lives if we do take rebirth there. So, just to recap, started off this series with the God realm, which is at the top, and there were different layers in the God realm. Then we had the demigod realm. Underneath that is us, the human realm. Then the animal realm is the first one that's considered a lower realm below us. Below that is the demigod realm, and now we're in the hell realm. There are layers within the hell realm as well. There's so much suffering in the hell realm. I mean, it's pretty much nothing but suffering when we take rebirth there. And we have taken rebirth in all of the realms. We've done it all. Because there's so much suffering down there, there's not even an inkling of anyone wanting to make any spiritual attainment. It's extremely rare for somebody to get out of hell from doing a virtuous action. It can happen, but it's really, really rare. So it's the worst rebirth that we can take, and it's actually our main address. We usually are in hell. And it's another thing that is a misconception, is that we're being punished, that there's some being that is doing this to us. No, it's all our own actions that would cause us to take rebirth in the hell realm, in any of the realms. Like, we're here now as a human because we have the karma for that to happen. It's all cause and effect. Everything is cause and effect. That's the really only law that rules over us and all our lives. So it's our own actions that would cause us to take rebirth there. So we've got nobody else but ourselves to blame for wherever we end up in uncontrolled rebirth, whatever realm we're in. Okay, so I'm kind of at the top, working my way down. So we'll do that with the hell realm too. So sort of at the top of the hell realm is what's called resembling hells. I mean, whatever name you want, that's just what I've learned. And resembling hells are the sort of unique hells that pretty much for an individual, depending on their the karma they have created, right? The causes they've created, they can end up with like an individual hell. So it's the least worst of the hells. Trying to put a good light on it. So we can end up there. Also, resembling hells can sort of be equated with like hellish things that happen to people in life here. Like, we know from watching the news or even horror movies and stuff, like the twisted, demented things, crime shows, right, that people do to each other, or situations people end up in that are just hellish. And so they can sort of be considered like a resembling hell. It's kind of like being in hell because the situation is just so horrifyingly bad that it would count as that. Below the resembling hell, we have a layer that would be called neighboring hells. And again, it's the worst negative karma that we can engage in. So when we're super selfish, super greedy, when we harm others, no regard with what others are going through, just thinking of ourselves, that's how we end up in these lower realms. So the neighboring hells. So I'm not going to go into all the details, all the torture and torment. You guys can probably imagine it for yourselves. If you really want me to, let me know in the comments, and I can do a video on all that, because some of it's really like so neighboring hells. So I'm just going to go over the names of the different hells, and you can kind of let your imagination take over. So there's the pit of fiery ash hell, swamp of excrement hell, plain of razors hell, forest of sword leaf trees hell, mountain of abrasive trees hell, and acid river hell. So they sound like wonderful places. Actually, some of them kind of remind me of the Labyrinth movie, because the excrement one, but I'm twisted, so sorry. Okay, I know, like, how can I like, I'm twisted. So I kind of have like a sense of humor about this, but it's really horrifying and sad to end up being there. But I guess it's kind of like one way of dealing with it is to kind of laugh with it. I'm not laughing at it, because it's horrifying to end up there. And like some of them, just when I've read all the details and the torment and stuff that go through, and it was just like my spine was just like I totally was like, oh my god, I think I've been there, right? Like, so I apologize if you think I'm taking this too lightly, because it is serious. But I mean, like, a lot of times people think, oh, hell, that's a fear teaching, that's to try to force you to follow a certain religion, and there's a lot of misinformation out there, where I just take it as it's a you have to love others to try to warn them. Like, if you don't change your behavior, you're going to end up in these places, and that's horrible. So it's not really a fear-based, like, depending on who you're following and what they're telling you, this is a teaching to try to help you overcome your negative habits, to try to stop causing harm to others. You know, it's the worst, the killing actions, the just all the horrible things that people do to each other. It has to stop, or they end up here. And so, yeah, apologies if I'm upsetting anybody, because I'm kind of laughing through this. I guess it's just my way of dealing with it. But I do have a twisted sense of humor. So apologies if I'm upsetting you. I don't mean to be. Okay, so then below the neighboring hells, we have the hot hells. And these, apparently, like, the floor is like burning hot iron, the walls are the same, the sky is just like fire. It's just, they're really frightening places. So I'm gonna go through the names of these different hot hells. Okay, so there's the reviving hell, black line hell, mass destruction hell, wailing hell, loud wailing hell, hot hell, intensely hot hell, unceasing torment hell. I mean, like, obviously the stuff that's happening in these things, is not pleasant. And it's, again, it's all because of our own actions that take us there. And we have way more negative actions. We have engaged in way more negative actions than we have in positive actions. So we just keep taking rebirth. And you can imagine that if you take rebirth as an animal and you're hunting things and killing things to feed yourself, so you're constantly killing in order to survive, you're gaining a ton of negative karma without even realizing that's what you're doing, because you don't have the capacity in the animal realm to conceive of those ideas, right? And so that's how we keep ending up with more and more negative karma. It's just through ignorance and not knowing. I mean, even like most of the people on the planet here wouldn't know. They're just so absorbed into this one life that they have right now, and they're going to do whatever it takes. They're going to harm whoever they harm in order to sort of help themselves, they think, but they're not helping themselves. They're doing the exact opposite, because they end up taking rebirth in these places. And we all do these things. I mean, we like have done these things all our past lives, right? So it is really, really horrifying. I just want to get into all the descriptions, everything, because this would be a really long video and it'd be super negative, and it's negative enough as it is. But again, if you want to know what torments actually happen, I mean, if it's going to help you to stop engaging in negative karma, then just let me know in the comments below, and I'll make another video on this and get into the details. Okay, so now here's a bit of a surprise, because below the hot hell is actually the cold hells. So hell does freeze over if you go low enough, and that's the lowest. The worst rebirth you can take is in those cold hells. So it's so bad that I don't think anybody even wants to go there, that they all say, you know, that expression, when hell freezes over, because they want to pretend that that doesn't exist, right? But no, so that's the worst, the absolute worst place you can take rebirth. So we have the blistering cold hell, bursting blister hell, the sneezing or achoo hell, moaning hell, chattering teeth hell, cracking like an upala. So an upala is a flower, and this actually refers to your skin cracking open because it's so cold. So you crack open like an upala flower, cracking like a lotus hell, and great cracking like a lotus hell. So that's the worst. Absolute worst is like, so you freeze in these hells. So for me, I mean, I haven't visited this one. I haven't had any interactions with this. I have done shamanic journeys. When I do shamanic journeys, not all the time, but every once in a while, I get pulled different places because different beings want to interact with me, and I have been pulled down lower than lower world, right, which I equate with the animal realm. I've been pulled down lower than that, and I have interacted with some beings that I would call, that might have been demons. So I can't say that I've been to hell. So, but I have, okay, so like these teachings I've taught that there are these 6 different realms, right? The God realm, demigod realm, human, animal, hungry ghost, and the hell realms. These 6 realms are where we take rebirth in this cycle of uncontrolled rebirth that we're in. So I know of 5 of them, okay? Because I have been to them. I haven't been to the Hungry Ghost realm, but I have interacted. If you've watched the videos, I have interacted with Hungry Ghosts. So for me, and I would hope that you would want to discover the truth for yourselves. But for me, I have discovered these things as being real. So, why would they tell you the truth about 5, but lie about the 6th one, about hell? That isn't logical for the stuff I've studied. So, to me, yeah, I'm just going to go along with this hell realm must exist because, like I said, I have experienced the other realms for myself. So for me, I know they exist, and that's what I want for you to figure it out. Go and do the work and discover these things for yourself. And so yeah, I would just assume. I'm just assuming that hell actually exists, and because some of the reactions of some of them when I read them, it was just like, oh, like almost like reliving them. So I take it that way. Now, other ways we can know that exists is some of the nightmares people have are just hellish, right? And like I said, on the news and things, and we can see the suffering of others and what they go through, and it must just be horrifying to go through some of that stuff. Like right now, I'm thinking about the mice plagues in Australia. I was like, oh, I don't think I could ever handle going through something like that. But just saying, like, there can be some really, really horrifying things. And some of the crime shows, and you hear what some of these criminals do to people, and, like, the torture they must have gone through, right? So it sort of, like, resembles hell. Some of the horror movies out there. Where do these ideas come from? Because been there, done that, right? Which is really sad. But again, I'm kind of making light of it. But so we can kind of go, you know what? It's probably real. I mean, anyone who completely denies hell exists, but believes in heaven, like, that's not logical. But again, there's a lot of misinformation out there. Like, these things are temporary, okay? They're not permanent. So, yeah, the more selfish we are, the more we're willing to harm others to benefit ourselves, the worse karma we're going to get. And it's the really, really, really bad stuff that we do, like those crime shows and horror movies and stuff we see. Anyone engaging in those actions is going to take rebirth in hell. And from what I understand, yes, sadly, if anyone commits suicide, they will go to hell because of the state of mind that they're in when they die. That also plays a role in where you take rebirth. So they end up there, but it's not permanent, okay? They will get out. They will have other lives. They will take rebirth other places. But they're down there till they get rid of all that negative karma enough that they can go to one of the higher realms. Okay, I think I've covered everything. I hope this has given you some explanation. And like I said, if there's anything you want to know further, just let me know in the comments below. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. And if you're interested, Spirit Operators, we have a website at NeoCities, and we're also on Bluesky. So there's links in the description below. Hopefully they work. If not, you can copy and paste them and join us on those other sites. That would be terrific. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this has been helpful. Catch you later.